some, or I told non-Hindi speaking states, you can communicate to them, whether it is hotels or tourism purpose. So if people learn Hindi, it's for the unification of the nation and also for promoting their business also.
Right.
So let those people answer these questions very specifically.
Okay, you've made a very strong, very potent opening disposition on the reason for why Hindi should be embraced across the country as a link language, not necessarily the first language or the only language, and that the current disposition under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has promoted regional languages far more than ever in the last 60 years before the BJP came to power under PM's leadership. So, Mohammad Harish Ibrahim, where is this entire issue? Why is it that the south of the Vindhyas states, the Dravidian states, largely get into this entire Hindi imposition game, 2-language, 3-language game? And why is it that English, language of the colonialists, is okay, but Hindi, which is spoken here in Bharat, is a problem?
Of course, because you run an English channel, because the DMK fought anti-Hindi impositions way back into the 1930s and 1960s. And that is the reason. Or otherwise, only the Hindi will be the national language, which has not happened because of the anti-Hindi imposition, which is followed by the DMK movement. And number two, why it has not been opposed in Tamil Nadu is because we are not against any kind of language imposition, whether be it Urdu or whether be it Hindi or whether any kind of language shouldn't be imposed in our people. That is the reason when the Official Languages Act was enacted, the entire 2-language policy has been specifically given only to the Tamil Nadu state. And because of that, what we have earned with that, only the mother language, Tamil as a number 1 language, and the number 2 language as an English as the communication language, as an additional language, what we have earned is because of that, we are the GSDP number 2 state across India. We are the GER number 1 nation across the nation, and we are lowest in the female immortality rate. We are the highest in all kind of industries across India. We have produced the results with a 2-language policy. And if you want to learn the 3rd language, the people of Tamil Nadu, the students of Tamil Nadu are entitled to go for that without being imposed. Where, madam, before the BJP spokesperson have stated so much of facts which has been corroborated of events which looks like it is true, but it is not. For instance, if you take Tamil Nadu, the Kendriya Vidyalaya schools are out of 53 Kendriya Vidyalaya schools which has been run by the central government. But in own official language of Tamil, there is not even a single teacher in 53 Kendriya Vidyalaya schools. There is only the first language is Hindi, and the second language is Sanskrit, and the third language is all the international languages. But for all these 53 languages, you have almost 28 to 30 Hindi teachers in all these schools, and then come the Sanskrit teachers. So where does the Tamil, the regional languages come into play? Even the Kendriya Vidyalaya schools, you are not able to do that. And number 4, if you are going to go ahead and impose any kind of 3rd language, or you want the people of entire India to learn an additional language, let it be Tamil or let it be the other 22 classical languages which has been defined by in our constitution under the 8th schedule. If you want to go ahead with that, Article 343 till 351 has enacted to make sure each and every state official language which has been defined as a classical language has all the privileges like Hindi. So if you want to go ahead with that fact, one second, Anand, let me complete. If you go ahead with that fact, out of the 28 states, out of 9 officially Hindi-speaking states, if you take the other 15 states, all the other 15 states has been given an option of learning first as Hindi as a first language and second as Sanskrit. Because of this, all the other non-Hindi speakings like Assami, all the other Marathi and all the Bhojpuri, so many of mother language has been destroyed by the institution of Hindi because you are not even giving an additional option to learn the other language except Hindi and Sanskrit other than their mother language. So you have to make sure all the international language teachers are put inside the Kendriya Vidyalaya schools or in all the schools which has been run by the state government or the central government for that matter. If you put the same kind of play, Exactly.
Now, here
If
is
you
the
give
thing.
the state-
If there was
So
a
if you give the
notification, let me
state-
ask you this. I'm just asking you this, Mohammed Harish Ibrahim.
Please go ahead, please go
If there is a notification that says that in your schools you teach English, you teach Tamil, actually teach Tamil, teach English, and the third language you choose, you have to use a third language which is spoken in that area, in that vicinity, which is the language which is spoken. And the choice is that if there are a minimum of 20 students who are there who want to learn that language, you can choose that. So you can choose that. So is that a fair notification? There is no mention that it has to be Hindi.
Of course, Anand, that is the reason across India, all the CBSE schools, all the matriculation schools, all the state board schools, students have given an option. Even you are saying almost 20, minimum of category of 20 students learning, particularly opting for French, then you have a French teacher. Even for single students, there are French teachers in all the CBSE schools or all the matriculation schools. So you don't impose. That is the reason.
No, there is no imposition there. Here the choice is being given. Nobody is saying it has to be Hindi. What? No, 1 minute. That is exactly the notification that's come. The notification that's come does not say it has to be Hindi. The notification that was issued is that if there are, like in Coimbatore, in that region, there will be people who would want to learn Malayalam. Closer upwards, north of Chennai, there will be people who would want to learn Telugu as a third language. There will be certain pockets closer to Kerala where they would want to learn Malayalam, or there will be those in perhaps Muslim-dominated areas, they would want to learn Urdu.
It is fair enough. I totally get your point.
Correct. That is exactly the notification. And what does it say? It just says that in case there is not a third language option, in terms of there aren't enough students who want to learn third language, you can use Hindi as the third language. Move to a 3-language policy rather than being adamant about a 2-language policy. Now, interestingly, sir, most of the top politicians send their children to CBSE schools where the language taught is not Tamil, it's English and Hindi. So this 1 minute. So this chest beating, so this chest thumping about Tamil only is not true. The other thing is, sir, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Delhi, Uttarakhand, and 2 other states want to introduce Tamil because they have students, they have children who are Tamil speaking who want to learn Tamil. But the state of Tamil Nadu has not been able to provide teachers. There are no teachers to teach Tamil. Now, that is also a GR notification that has come, and that's also out there, that data. So, what I'm trying to say is that if you are saying so much about Tamil, then you have to also spread Tamil. There have to be Tamil Sangams. There have to be teachers across the country. Kendriya Vidyalaya is for those who are largely with central government, central duties, who are posted across the country, and these schools were largely opened for those children. And that is why there is a uniformity in the language. So you took the example only of Kendriya Vidyalaya. I am asking you, tell me how many schools, state-run schools in Tamil Nadu, sir, teach a local language which are spoken by the locals, along with Tamil and English.
We have the schools which teach Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada, Tulu, Punjabi, and everything.
Where do you have these schools? Tell me how many. Tell me how many state board schools teach them, sir. Sir, tell me how many state board schools teach them, sir. So what I'm trying. Your number, sir. You tell me, because we have done a deep dive. There are. Sir, can you tell me the total number of schools?
Great query. Give me a second to answer that.
Yeah.
Give me a
Okay,
second.
then I'll bring in our other panelists.
You have said that why there is no Tamil teachers inside all the schools where people want to learn Tamil. Here comes the double play or the triple play by the union government, current BJP government. The current BJP government have allocated almost 2,500 crores to empower Sanskrit, but it has given only almost 124 crores to the sponsors of Tamil.
No. Wow. So no. Everything is you just now said because of Tamil and English. That is why Tamil Nadu has got so many great numbers. You link language with mortality rate, sir. You link language with cultural, sociological indices, and you said it is because of two-language policy. I am asking you, what is the investment that successive governments in Tamil Nadu have made in developing Tamil and nationalizing Tamil? To spread to increase the spread of Tamil. Is there even a mention in the budget of any of the last 5 chief ministers, 6 chief ministers?
You are not aware of the fact.
No, I am asking you.
Our education budget is almost 48,000 crores.
No, your education budget is for Tamil Nadu, sir. I am talking about the spread of Tamil across the country to ensure that there are Tamil Sangams and Tamil training, so that there are teachers there. To promote Tamil, sir, to promote Tamil across the country, what is the concerted effort that the Tamil Nadu government has taken so far, sir? No, if the center is pushing Sanskrit, if the center... I am asking you under the UPA.
You are batting for the central government.
No, I am asking you. I speak Tamil myself. I am asking you, sir, when the DMK had power, when did they centralize Tamil? Did they open Tamil Sangams across north of India? Did they try and promote Tamil as a language? When did they do? They just said that you can't come and speak Hindi here. They never said, we'll come and speak Tamil where you are. No, you never said that, sir. Okay, anyway, sir, I don't want to make it this one between ourselves. Varun, thank you for your time. Now, the other thing is, there are across the country, people watch Telugu movies. People are watching Telugu stars. People are understanding Telugu if they want to understand Telugu. It is also about the attitude. Nobody is putting a gun to anybody's head to say you have to learn Hindi. If you learn Hindi, it will help you. If you are in Andhra, in the Andhra region, if you are in Telangana, if you learn Telugu, it will help you. Anybody who is there, who has the attitude, will learn Telugu. If they turn around and say, no, I will not learn Hindi, but you have to learn Telugu, well, it's not going to happen. Same way, if a Hindi kara turns around and says, I will not learn Tamil, but you have to learn Hindi, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, yes, Varun. So, where is this entire issue?
So, Anandji, good evening. So, I just want to say that, are we looking at this issue at the lenses of competence or convenience? Okay. So, if you want to look at it as a linguistic dominance rather than a correct language, I will not believe a fact that a small change in a policy of NAP, which is actually a free will, but will kill a regional language. A 3,000-year language or a 2,000-year-old language or a 1,000-year-old language cannot be killed by any kind of regulation that is brought by a central government in which there is no imposition at all. Any party or any group or any person in this country who believes they're a byproduct of political and psychological democracy of this country will not feel there is an imposition in this NEP. There's absolutely no imposition. In fact, I'm surprised by the DMK saying that there is imposition, who is in alliance with the very Congress government that bought in this fact of imposition. It all started with the Dakshina Bharat Hindi Sabha that initiated all of this in 1918 by Mahatma Gandhi. I don't know what they have to say for this. But Hindi has been a cynosure of this whole episode just because there is about 52.8 crore population or 28% of the country's population that is speaking Hindi. That's the only reason why Hindi is being made a cynosure. There is no reason to hate any language. A language, I can't understand why or how a language can be loved or hated. It is merely, language is not a talent, it's a tool of communication. Let's look at it at that perspective. For example, take instance Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh has been very progressive in incorporating a 3-language policy right from the very beginning. It was a give and take policy. We have people who have learned Hindi, we have people in the very nook and corner of Andhra Pradesh. There are people who have come from Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, have settled down, have been doing businesses, learning our language, and we have been reciprocating it by teaching Hindi to our students. All I am saying is, this is a very important point. The next line that I'm going to say, choice to learn and chance to grow. Why are we killing the spirit of a chance to learn and a choice to learn and chance to grow for the next generations? Who are we here sitting to decide on what language should be learned by the next generation of students? Let's leave it to them. Let's be democratic enough in making the students choose what they can learn. While we also understand, see, I'm a proud Telugite. There is no ambiguity about it. I enjoy being a Telugite. I have the pride. The very party that came from a name called Telugu Desam Party, I'm proud about it. But having said that, while teaching in mother tongue, promotes cognitive capabilities. Learning more language also promotes cognitive capabilities of a student. Let's not deny that fact. Let's not snatch away the neural capability enhancement of a student sitting here and doing language politics. That's barbaric. That's shameful. Let's come out of that game. And if you look at the perspective of why Hindi is being projected as something that that is as an imposition, I don't see. 1968 bills was about opposition. 1980s was about opposition. 1970s was about opposition. Why is this 2020 about opposition? I'm not able to understand where imposition is coming from. Where is this word imposition? Where do you find this imposition? Where is that unsaid word called imposition being taken?
It is being implied. If and therefore,
yes.
There is no proof.
Yes.
There's no proof.
Yes.
It is purely maybe and therefore.
Yes.
It is purely that this is a playbook from the 60s which worked for us at that time. Let's use it again. But the text and the grammar has changed.
Let me tell you, Anandji, I will say it on record today with utter confidence and with paramount confidence that my language, Telugu, which is 1,500 year plus language, cannot be killed by any means in this country. It can't be. You cannot. It's not possible.
No,
see,
nobody is even talking about
yes.
I'm just talking about
all I'm saying is
what I'm trying to say is who is talking about promoting the languages.
Absolutely,
Those people who are hitting people on the streets of Mumbai talking about Marathi, in which schools are their own children studying?
Absolutely.
Are those schools even putting an emphasis on Marathi? Tell me what is the standard of the language Telugu spoken on the streets of Hyderabad today compared to what Telugu actually is? What is the language of Tamil spoken on the streets of Chennai compared to the Sen Tamil? Or the purity of Tamil as a language? Forget all of that. Look at the Hindi that is being spoken today on the streets compared to what Devanagari and what Hindi literature is actually supposed to be.
This brings me to a very fundamental point. I'll just end up. This brings me to a fundamental point that in the fight that we are doing about the whole language thing, let us not derail from the originality of our languages and let us not make our local languages a merely for ornamental purpose. Let's not get an ornamental status to our languages. Let's fall in love with the language learning process.
See, here is the irony. The irony is that the colonial language English is named first. Whereas it should be the local language and the link language is Hindi, and then the colonial language that should be learned. And it is not thanks to the DMK or anybody else that we are doing an English language broadcast. It is because of the fact that it was decided centrally that there will be two languages, largely national communication, that is English and Hindi, by Doordarshan and the central government. So don't pat the DMK there for that. The other thing is, sir, it was also because those who wrote in the Constituent Assembly debates, they very clearly said we want to ape India. We want to call it India, not Bharat. We want to say India and we want to look at the West and we want to ape the West. And we want to relink ourselves from our cultural roots. So that argument that many of our initial representatives and MLAs, MPs in Parliament during the Constituent Assembly debates, when they made the argument, no, we should be Bharat, it should be Sanskrit, it should be our Indian languages, Bharatiya languages that should be promoted, it was rejected, that thought process, by the entire Nehruvian school. And that's a legacy that we are facing today, 70 years down the line. If we honestly look, the Urdu we speak, the Telugu we speak, the Tamil we speak, the Hindi we speak, the Marathi we speak, the Gujarati we speak, all languages are diluted. Even the English we speak is corrupted now today because of the inclusion of Hindi words and other language words into English. So that's how it's happening. And language is testimony to a civilization. If language is gone, that entire culture, that civilization gets eroded, a new one replaces it, and that's what comes. So if anybody picks up their hand and claims imposition, we should turn around and say, all right, we will teach Hindi, but make sure that whichever places you are, we will provide you teachers, start teaching Tamil as an optional language. And encourage Tamil families based in the north of India, based in the west of India, to turn around and say, ask for Tamil, we will provide you teachers if they say they don't have teachers. We will create a separate fund for promoting Marathi in Bengal. We will create a separate fund for promoting Bangla in Gujarat. This is the attitude that is supposed to be there. That's not there, Syed Asad Abbas. And it's real, and it applies to all communities. Okay, there cannot be some who will say कि भाई हम Muslim हैं, हम सिर्फ उर्दू बोलेंगे, हिंदी बोलेंगे. It cannot be. That attitude cannot be there. I know you speak Kannada. I'm just saying not everybody has that. I'm just saying nobody should have that attitude.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more on that front, Anand Saab. One very important point that you made. A language is most significant to the state we belong, to the nation we belong, to the civilization we belong. There are no two ways about that, sir. Completely agree with you. That respect a language deserves and it needs. Now coming to the front, what we see through in Maharashtra. This front where you're able to bring in violence amongst the people, we will hit you. We may not record you with a mobile phone, but if you do not speak Marathi, we will do this to you. It is absolutely wrong. That is not a way to celebrate the beautiful language of Marathi. Now, let me bring it down here to the south of India, to where I belong, Karnataka and Bengaluru. South India's linguistic diversity, let us understand. No doubt it's a vibrant tapestry, weaving together Kannada, Kodava, Tulu, Konkani, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, many languages. The fact that, be it my friends from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, or my friend Harish Ibrahim from Tamil Nadu, or myself, being a Karnataka, we respectfully take great prides in our respective language. But the fact, one of the panelists who made a point that us imposing anything to the generations to come is absolutely unfair. We must have the young generations, from the millennials to the Gen Zs to my Gen Alphas at home, should have a choice on the front of the language that they take. Now, recently, Honorable Chief Minister of my state of Karnataka, Shri Siddaramaiah ji, has made a statement that he is mulling over two-language policy. Three language. Now, if you ask me personally, what are my languages? First language being English back in my ICSE, second language Hindi, and my third language is Kannada. Being a Bangalorean born bred here, due to my friends, colleagues, friends, neighbors, I'm able to articulate and make my points in Kannada rather better. But did Hindi help me? Of course it did. The fact of the matter, Anand Saab, you will agree with me and all the panelists, it is much easier for our friends from the north of India to speak, write, read in Hindi than us Indians from the south. It is a significant challenge to write in Hindi, to read in Hindi, to converse in Hindi. Us South Indians have a challenge, or it is a little more difficult to us than our friends who are living right up the north. This is a fact that we must agree on the front. Now, will the implementation in my state of Karnataka come through that only two languages? Honestly, me as a Kannadiga, me being here in Bengaluru, I can tell you, sound good in politics, but no. I don't think so.
See, it's not real. See, frankly, to all of to our viewers and to everyone, it's not real. The idea should have been that each language should have been promoted. There should not have been a child like me who had his education in the north of India who could not learn, read, write Tamil because it was not being taught. So it's not being taught. You're dealing.
Fair point.
You have to make one has to make the effort many years later.
Right.
So that's where I question, why are state governments not promoting their language across the country and taking pride in their language rather than being saying isolationist that if you come to Tamil Nadu you have to speak Tamil. No, I want everybody to understand Tamil and speak Tamil across the country. That is the respect. And the fact is that no, not because I will come to the north, but I will not speak a language you speak, I'll speak a language of the colonialist because I don't want to speak your language. It's pure ego, sir, then. It's pure ego, or it is those who believed that they want a separate out of Bharat. And E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar who had approached Jinnah also at that time. Now, do we really want to carry that legacy forward, or do we want to do the right things forward, going together as integration? Now, those are aspects which we need to consider. We need to be very seriously understand, because this way all languages will get diluted. Our children will start speaking English in a Tamil tone, English in a Kannada tone, English in a Hindi tone, English in a Punjabi tone. But they will not be speaking their mother languages if we go down this path. And then we'll all have nothing but brown sahibs as in 1890 they envisioned. That's how they wanted to leave us 2 centuries later. So is that what we want? That's seriously all politicians have to see. If you hit somebody and say you don't speak Marathi, that person will say I will never speak Marathi. Or are Marathi people so bad? No,
Absolutely.
they are the most hospitable people. If you hit somebody to say you don't speak Kannada, what is the impression they're going to have? Same way, you can't have a North Indian turn around and say, hey, Madrasi, Hindi mein bol. That's not right.
Yes.
Because everybody south of the Vindhyas is not a Madrasi.
Absolutely.
These are
Absolutely.
so
Stereotypes.
it cuts
These
it,
are,
yeah,
these
it
are,
cuts both
Anand
ways.
Saab, just allow me a
It
second.
cuts both ways.
These are
And
stereotypes.
I can tell you this because I've borne it all.
Anand,
And the only thing that changes is when you make the effort to learn the language, then the other person says, oh, this person is making an effort, Vinusha ji, so let me also help that person out. One word in Kannada, one word in Telugu, oh, you're trying.
Yes.
At least you're
Ease
making
of-
one
ease
word
of
in
living.
Tamil,
Anand Saab,
and it
give me 10
changes everything,
seconds.
right? So one word you speak in Hindi, it'll change everything. Oh, somebody is making an effort. Let me help
me
that
10
person
seconds,
out.
please.
Yeah, Vinusha
Give me
ji.
10 seconds.
Yeah, Vinusha ji, and
Just
then
10 seconds, Anand Saab.
Okay,
10
okay,
seconds.
10 seconds, and then we'll wind up.
The
Yeah.
fact, even in
10
Karnataka,
seconds.
Anand Saab, even in Karnataka, many of them have been invited to various resident welfare forums and association where they questioned me. Why is the government doing this? The fact of the matter is, you're absolutely right. Learning Kannada is only ease of living, ease of convenience. I will not advocate any violence, hitting, slapping, or holding someone by the collar. Karnatakadalli Kannada matadbeku. No. But always leading a helping hand for you to try and learn a few words. Mohandas
Right.
5G very beautifully articulated. Learn 50 words, 60 words, 100 words for your ease of living and easier communication and
Yeah,
convenience.
but there is a way to say it, right? There's a way to do it.
There is a way to it,
those
sir.
who are staring at
Yes.
political oblivion, if they start slapping people on the roads
Yeah.
of Mira Bhayandar and all, they will be further turned into
Yes.
nobodies. But Vinusha ji, yes.
Ah,
17
Anand ji,
languages
I have
our
listened-
PV Narasimha Rao
yeah,
garu learned. We can
PV
learn at least 4, no?
Correct. Anand ji, I have listened to the entire panel, and the consistent point with the DMK person or the Karnataka my co-panelist here, they are telling again and again, they are lying that this government is imposing, and I don't know how many times I have to say that this government is not imposing. It's giving a choice, sir. And I want to tell to my Karnataka co-panelist here, sir,
Right.
I'm born, brought up in Andhra Pradesh, Telugu person, but I did my post-graduation in Karnataka and I learned few words. And now, ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. I learned Kannada. And you just now told 50 to 60 words you learn in other languages. So it applies all over to India also. Because I have been in Delhi.
Interesting. I have to wind.
What's wrong in
10 seconds,
unifying
10
the
seconds, Anand ji.
nation?
No, there is nothing. It's
And
like I
what's
said,
wrong?
it's not about the
10
bhasha.
seconds.
Actually, it's about the bhava. And if that politics enters, then the bhava, the attitude towards it changes because it is then driven by the political
10
desire,
10 seconds,
political
Anand.
intent, and we digress
give me
from
10
it.
seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds, sir. I've got to wind up.
10 seconds, Anandji. 10 seconds, Anandji. I'll tell you what kind of a byproduct I was about these languages. నేను తెలుగులో మాట్లాడగలను, నా తమిళ్లో పేస ముడియం, నాకు మలయాళం మరయం, నాకు కన్నడ బರುತ್ತೆ, मैं हिंदी जानता हूँ, I know English. 6 languages. Beautifully, Andhra Pradesh border state guy. We nailed it across. Chittoor teaches Telugu, Tamil schools. We have Tamil schools.
Right.
We have Tamil schools.
Okay, now I'm happy that we are all flaunting the
mein
number
baat
of
karo.
languages we know
Of
rather
course,
than
yes.
saying we'll speak only these languages.
Of course,
I think
yes.
that, like I said, that's the bhava part of it, the attitude part
Exactly.
of it. I just want to wind up by saying, interestingly, that GR that was signed in Maharashtra and which was withdrawn, it was actually signed by Uddhav Thackeray in their government. And Devendra Fadnavis revealed it. And somebody in the bureaucracy pushed because the GR is signed, it was continuity of governance, they released it and then they withdrew it saying that no, this is not what we intend. So it was actually signed by those who are talking on the streets and hitting people on the streets. It was signed by their leader. Anyway, we're going to wind up on that. So that's the politics of it. Thank you to our guests. Moving on. Back into Karnataka, viewers, a 35-year-old man, Siddesh, tragically died at the Davangere District Hospital due to the unavailability of a crucial jaundice injection. Siddesh had been admitted to the hospital 5 days prior, requiring an albumin injection, which, according to the hospital staff, was out of stock. He was reportedly asked to purchase the expensive medication from outside. Unable to afford the costly injection, Siddesh spent 4 days in the hospital without receiving the necessary treatment. And now, the Bengaluru civic body is planning to feed around 440 dogs in each zone a 400-gram meal of chicken and rice every day. Not just this, the Karnataka government has reinstated a 200 rupee ticket cap for regional films in theatres, including multiplexes. So, movie tickets are going to be cheaper than popcorn there. Now, the decision came after Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaya's announcement in his budget speech. The state government says it is expected to benefit film enthusiasts and the regional film industry alike, promoting a more vibrant and inclusive cinematic experience in the state. So here's the thing, all case of misplaced priorities. 35-year-old man left to die at Davangere District Hospital. Crucial jaundice injection was unavailable. The patient was hospitalized for 5 days. Hospital staff said that albumin injection was out of stock. Patient called the Mayakonda MLA, Basavantappa sought help. The MLA intervened, injection was administered, but the patient condition didn't improve and he passed away. The state government claims that there is no shortage of essential medicines in government hospitals. However, Congress's own MLA Basavantappa cited Siddesh's example and said that government hospital patients were being asked to get medicines from outside pharmas. The state government claims that it will ensure fresher supplies, prevent overstocking. Congress's own MLA has shown the harsh reality. He said there is no injection in stock available. How Davangere District Hospital has no injection in stock available. The state government has also said that there is efficient distribution of quality medicines, but he is saying absolute negligence on part of the Davangere District Hospital that led to the death of the 35-year-old. Listen into what the Congress MLA himself is saying.
ನಾನು ಸಹ ಅನೇಕ ಸಾರಿ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಸಭೆ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಬಡವರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸವಲತ್ತುಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗಂಭೀರವಾಗಿ ಚಿಂತನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸೂಚನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಸಹ ಈಗ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನೆ ಖುದ್ದಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿ ಜಿ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲ್ 71-72 ವಾರ್ಡ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿ ವಾರ್ಡ್ನಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದ ರುದ್ರಕಟ್ಟಿಯ ಸಿದ್ದೇಶ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ರೈತ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಆತ 2-3 ದಿನದೂ ನನಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟ. ಮತ್ತು ಅದು ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಂದು ನಮಗೆ 5,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಒಂದು ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತಂದು ಯಾವುದದು ಆಲ್ಬಮಿನ್ ಅಂತಂತೇಳಿ ಅದು ಜಾಂಡೀಸಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ. ಇದು ಅವರು ಭಾಳ ಕೂಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಿನ್ನೋ ಜನ. ಅವರು 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿದು ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ 50 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಥರ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆ 5,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ನನ್ನ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತಂದರು. ನಾನು ಸಹ ಸೂಪ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸಹ ಅವತ್ತು ತರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ತಿರುದಿನ ನಾನೇ ಖುದ್ದು ಹೋಗಿ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂಥ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ನ ಏನು ಹೆಡ್ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸೂಪ್ರೈಸರಿಗೆ ಈ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರು. ಅವರು ಯಾರು ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿ ವಾರ್ಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬ್ರದರ್ ಅವರು ಇಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ಸಹ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದೇಳಿ ಮುಂದೂಡ್ಯಾರ. ಅದೇ ಈ ನೆಗ್ಲಿಜೆನ್ಸಿ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಏನು ಬಿಡ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಡೆದು ಹೋಗತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಯಾರು.
So that's a reaction. A lot of people reacting to this story saying this is the case in a lot of places. Just got another update. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda, spokesperson of Karnataka BJP with us, Syed Asad Abbas and Rashmi Samant, activist. My namaste, Jai Hind to everybody. Now Lakshmi ji, how would you want to react? The government says everything is there, all is well, all stocks are there. Their own MLA is saying it's not there.
The recalcitrant Congress government has failed time and again in delivering the welfareistic things to the people of Karnataka. Now the Congress government has become so much callous that they could not deliver. They have shown callous civic apathy and medical apathy that the district hospital, being the tertiary health center, being a referral center, didn't have a life-saving drug like albumin that is otherwise used in the treatment of liver failure, sepsis, shock and casualties and the ICU patients. It's highly condemnable. There, Mr. Siddaramaya's dispensation is ready to serve the delicious and the salacious biryani to the street dogs, but they are not ready to ensure the proper supply chain management of the life-saving drugs at the district hospital. As their own MLA, Mr. Mahanteshappa, has admitted, has slammed the district hospital, in turn their own government, their own dispensation for their inability to serve properly, and they are ready to serve. They're ready to give salacious biryani to the street dogs, but not treating the patients properly, but not saving their patients properly, and pushing them to the perpetual woes. It is highly condemnable.
Now, what would you like to say, Syed Asad Abbas?
It is very unfortunate that someone so young, someone my age, had to pass away because of something like this. I honestly believe that Mr. Basavantappa, the Congress MLA, should certainly meet Siddaramaiah ji and bring to his notice what has happened. And those responsible must and should be reprimanded. This is a serious negligence, and the way to be dealt is with iron hands. Where I do not agree with the BJP spokesperson here is, ma'am, if the stray dogs of my city of Bengaluru or across the state of Karnataka are being fed with food, don't they have the right to exist and stay like us? Aren't they very much a part of inhabitants of our beautiful Mother Earth? So let us not bring in these two. Mistake has happened, reprimand, correct the mistakes. But saying that, okay, comparing it to, humans' best friend dogs and saying that you're giving them biryani and not doing nothing here. No, ma'am. Let us give biryani to our dogs.
respectfully, for the best friend to exist, the humans have to exist first. So what should be priority for the state government is another
Where
part.
are their priorities
Both,
placed?
both,
That-
both
that-
should be
that-
both should be a priority,
No,
not at the cost of each other.
there has to be a prioritization. Which comes first? Should this is not the first case. Today again, a pregnant lady has lost her life because there was not injection available and there was medication not available, and this was not in Davangere. There is another instance that has happened of late. I just got to know about it, and we will try and get you those details also. So this is the second case that's happened in a week's time, when they say all is well and all stop, and they are different district, different place. So clearly it's not the case. No? So what are they doing? They are more concerned about what should be the ticket prices at the movie halls rather than
I will answer on the ticket
whether or
prices.
not
That's a fair
here.
question.
Rashmi
I will
Samant,
answer.
one minute. Rashmi Samant.
Okay. Sure.
Firstly, I think I'll say this with a lot of responsibility. Another life lost due to negligence. And here we're not just talking about gross medical negligence. The 2 lives that we're talking about here were due to gross medical negligence. But just a couple of weeks ago, lives were lost due to a stampede which happened due to mismanagement on part of the Karnataka government, which the government has also taken cognizance of. People died due to the flooding in Bengaluru because drains were not cleared. Storm drains were not cleared before the onset of monsoon in Bengaluru. So there has been a succession of loss of life due to gross negligence by the state government. And what the state government is doing, instead of addressing systemic failures, is indulging in feel-good populism. Feel-good populism. What it is doing is it is inventing problems and giving it feel-good solutions. The moviegoer's problem, it's just a feel-good problem, and they've invented a solution to that. So what do systems which do not want to tackle real-time problems and only sway people using techniques is feel-good populism, and that is what is happening in Karnataka. We have a chief minister who's accused of corruption, who the government has taken, who the courts have taken a stance against. We have welfare schemes which haven't been paid out for the past couple of months. The Griha Lakshmi scheme. We have people dying due to gross negligence by the government, and here what the government is doing is feel-good populism, and it is a huge problem. And as a Kannadati, who's born and bred and raised in this state, it is extremely heartbreaking that a state which was in excess in terms of its revenue is actually in debt today, and the MLAs of the current day government are actually coming out and saying that there was gross mishandling of the funds with the kind of guarantee schemes that came out initially. Multiple MLAs from the Congress government have came out. This is not the first time. Even during those land allocation scams, housing allocation scams, which were discussed just a couple of weeks ago, it is MLAs of the Congress party who are coming out. We don't need any further validation of the apathy of the situation for the, for members of the ruling government to come out and cry out like this. It means that the system is completely collapsing, and the people who are in charge, the chief minister and the deputy chief minister, they are just indulging in feel-good populism that they can, flood front pages and Twitter pages with. I'm not against feeding stray dogs. In fact, I feed all the stray dogs here in my locality. I'm a dog lover. But I think the government needs to stop doing feel-good stunts and really address systemic failure.
If they are able to streamline the waste from all the restaurants in all the localities areas and ensure that it is actually streamlined into a particular place, and that entire area's strays can actually be fed because of the waste that is there. You have to focus on waste management. You are budgeting and you're saying government's allocated time and resources will be directed to that at a time when the basic amenities are being denied. So the Janta is being treated like cattle. Look at what happened with the celebration at RCB this one post IPL. From there downwards, I'm forget all of that. Somebody walks into a hospital the minister is coming out and saying all is well, all stocks are there. Here nothing is there. That's not done. Syed Asad Abbas, you wanted to say something, yeah?
Yes, I wanted to. Rashmi spoke about, Karnataka state being in debt. I can list out several BJP states also which are in debt. And let me tell you, in a larger functioning democracy like our beautiful country with a $1 trillion economy, it is bound to be, ma'am. We are states, a federal structure is dependent on the center. Now, let me tell you something about Karnataka, how you're painting this picture that everything is wrong. Karnataka is the second largest contributor of GDP of the nation. We in Karnataka have outpaced the national growth by 6.4%. Agriculture under Siddaramaiah Congress government has grown by 4%. We continue to be the startup capital of India and the Silicon Valley of the East. Now coming to the populism that you mentioned, ma'am, Karnataka Film Chamber of Commerce said Karnataka movie industry is dying. And they pleaded the Siddaramaiah government to do something about it. Not just that, hundreds of exhibitors, producers, directors, thousands of people who are dependent on the Kannada sandalwood industry. That is why this measure was taken. Do you want Siddaramaiah to work as a capitalist? No, ma'am. 200 rupees, I completely stand with you. I would love Siddaramaiah more if he brought down the popcorn prices, which literally take half my salary. Going for a movie with family would mean $5,000. And that's an astronomical figure.
No, but today what they've done is they've actually made the tickets cheaper than the popcorn, and that by about 50%. Now, that's a different story altogether. But what is it that they are trying to do? Are you supposed to promote the industry, or are you supposed to reduce the cost of the tickets?
I will answer that.
See, if the people can pay to, you have to create films and you have to make content which people will watch. That's the challenge. Now, there are movies that have done in the last 2 years, Kannada movies that have done more than 100 crore. How did they do it? So how did they do it? It was about content, and it was about how it was done. Then after that, what hurt the Kannada industry was drugs. What hurt the Kannada industry was murder. What hurt the Kannada industry was hooliganism and gundagardi. Now, all of that is reflective on the state of affairs in the state. That drugs are a free flow, etc. So you are not looking at remedying the cause. You are just trying to decorate the effect. That's not how it is done. That's not how it is done. I'm just going to go back across to Lakshmi ji also put her hand up, so let us speak and then you can react. Yes.
Sure.
Yes, Lakshmi ji.
Mr. Siddaramaiah's dispensation has totally lost its sight over the petty politics. He couldn't really rise above it. He could not really prioritize the developmental politics over the petty politics. He himself is busy staking his claims about the creditworthiness to continue to be in the chief ministerial post, and it is highly condemnable. They have been busy doing their political slugfesting. They are busy doing the constant power struggle that has resulted in civic apathy, medical apathy, and constant administrative lapses that has pushed the people, the civilians, the common people to a perpetual woes. Those who voted them to power, those who have given them the spectacular majority, they have failed as a government, they have failed as a law and order, they have failed as the total fiasco. Mr. Siddaramaiah ji, as Mr. Abbas has rightly pointed out, he is not a capitalist. He is a socialist, and he is a so-called the champion of the social justice. But he could not prioritize common people over his petty politics. He could not prioritize women's safety over petty politics. He has lost its sight in his entire tenure over the petty politics. He could not really prioritize the developmental politics. It is a high time for him to prioritize the developmental politics over the petty politics, because people of Karnataka deserve the justice. They deserve the best from this dispensation.
See, the point is the economic model that has been perfected over a millennia but which is lost is socio-capitalism or dharmanomics. We have to create wealth so that there can be donation. So for 29 days in a month you have to create wealth, and the 30th you should also donate. So that's what the dharma was of the Raja at that time, and that was because it was socio-capitalism that was created. Wealth and welfare go hand in hand. So one creating wealth, the other creating welfare, that doesn't work. You have to have wealth for one to be able to do welfare. If Karnataka is doing very, very well, sir, then it should not have mounting debt. It should be writing off its debt, and it should be able to put more in the hands of the people and pay on ground. So these are all concerns. Right now, sir, this is mismanagement. This is not about lack of money, lack of funds. This is all mismanagement because you have gone ahead and promised to the people something you cannot afford to deliver. And it's not one promise. It is 10 promises that you have given. That is the problem. I've got to wind up. We've got big news coming through as an exclusive news break. Thank you to all our panelists. Have to move on for the moment. Just Now, here's a big exclusive news break here on The Right Stand. Let's try and understand this, viewers, quickly. A major international narco-terror network has been uncovered through a sting operation by the US Drug Enforcement Administration at Vancouver Port, exposing a dangerous nexus involving Pakistani ISI handlers, Chinese chemical suppliers, and Latin American drug cartels. Now, according to the top Indian intelligence sources, the operation confirms long-standing concerns about Canada's emergence as a hub for covert hybrid threats. The DEA investigation, which began in 2022 and extended into 2023, recently led to the unsealing of an affidavit detailing the activities of a British Columbia-based fentanyl trafficking ring with global links. Central to the operation, as per the DEA findings and Indian intelligence inputs, is the Indo-Canadian national Upinder Singh Sian, alleged leader of the notorious Brothers Keepers gang. Intelligence officials described the gang as a proxy for Mexico's Sinaloa cartel in Canada. Now, deeply entangled with Latin American cartels and Chinese Communist Party-linked chemical suppliers. Top intelligence sources assert that Sian acts as a critical intermediary between the ISI operatives in Lahore, Chinese dual-use chemical companies, and transnational drug syndicates. The gang's activities, according to sources, are not limited to narcotics but extend to the funding of Khalistani propaganda, arms smuggling, and sleeper cell recruitment over back here in Bharat in Punjab. Now, Indian agencies have also highlighted Vancouver's transformation into a strategic node for narco-terrorism, with ISI and Chinese networks exploiting Canada's permissive legal and political environment. Intelligence reports also point to crypto-based Hawala channels. Crypto-based Hawala channels, NGO fronts, and encrypted communication routes via Dubai, Hong Kong, Lahore that facilitate the laundering of fentanyl proceeds and financing of radical elements in Punjab, Delhi, and Kashmir. Indian intelligence has also linked the Irish origin Kinahan cartel operating from Dubai to Hezbollah financing networks that are laundering Canadian drug money into Middle Eastern black markets. And these assessments are reinforced by the evidence gathered by the DEA, confirming the operational overlap between international crime syndicates and the hostile state actors. The coordinated use of synthetic opioids, chemical precursors, and financial laundering by this ISI-China-Canada axis, and this entire cartel axis, constitutes a hybrid threat to national security, and Indian intelligence has warned agencies have so far identified over 40 Indo-Canadian operatives, including Gurdwara-linked fundraisers and YouTube influencers, as part of a wider propaganda and logistical network. That's all we have time for in this edition of The Right Stand. Thanks for watching.
Co-presented by This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
All right, starting this bulletin with the breaking news. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has warned Brazil, China and India, saying they could face heavy sanctions if they keep doing business with Russia. Rutte's remarks offered clarity about the potential outcome after President Donald Trump announced that he was giving Putin 50 days to enter into a peace talks with Ukraine or face what he called secondary tariffs of 100% as well as secondary sanctions. Mark Rutte urges leaders to call Putin and push for serious peace talks.
First of all, that the US will now supply massively Ukraine with weapons out of the US, not just air defense, also missiles, also ammunition paid for by the Europeans. And secondly, that President Trump said, basically, if Russia is not serious about peace talks, within 50 days, he will slam secondary sanctions on countries like India, China and Brazil. So my encouragement to these three countries particularly is, if you live now in Beijing or in Delhi, or you are the president of Brazil, you might want to take a look into this, because this might hit you very hard. So please make the phone call to Vladimir Putin.
War
Well, my colleague Akanksha is with us on the phone line. Akanksha, there is a stern warning coming from NATO General Secretary where he says that India, Japan and China should stop buying or trading with Russia. Now, can we see this being reflected into a trade deal between India and US?
Arun, important to highlight that this is particularly a warning being given to BRICS members, which is Brazil, Russia, India and China. And as we all know, it comes a day after Donald Trump threatened Russia to make a deal on Ukraine in the next 50 days. Otherwise, Russia would be slapped with 100% tariffs, to which the NATO chief, Mark Rutte, has, of course, gone on to also highlight that India and China and Brazil could also be roped in with secondary sanctions or secondary tariffs of 100%. And if there is any trade with Russia in terms of Russian exports, we know that India happens to be one of the largest buyers of Russian energy and oil. And so India could very well stand a threat of being slapped with these additional sanctions. So you can clearly see this divide between, say, the US plus NATO versus Putin and the other BRICS members, particularly Brazil, China and India. As we all know, there was a unified stance in condemning the US president, not just for his airstrikes on Iran, but also for primarily raising the tariffs and shaking up the entire global economy. And so what Mark Rutte is saying is only echoing Donald Trump's stance. As we all know, there's a growing consensus within Republican senators in the United States who are praising Donald Trump for announcing the steps of a 50-day peace plan for Russia. And many have also voiced concerns that this could change the negotiating tactics for the Russian president.
Good evening, you're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. The Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu has waded into the language debate. He was addressing the PV Narasimha Rao lecture yesterday in the national capital, and he cited the example of the former Prime Minister, PV Narasimha Rao, who he said knew and spoke at least 17 languages. It's a well-known fact that Mr. Narasimha Rao was a polyglot. But Mr. Naidu says that Mr. Rao should be an inspiration for all Indians, particularly South Indians who are trying to learn Hindi as well as other languages. But some of the language chauvinist parties like the DMK, the MNS, the Sena UBT, again in Maharashtra, learning Marathi has become a huge focal point just ahead of the BMC elections. All of these parties, which have sort of built their reputation around language politics, language chauvinism, etc., they are high on language sort of being given the primacy in the respective states that they hail from. They are, of course, against the imposition of Hindi. Whereas what Mr. Naidu is saying is that it's not imposition of Hindi, it is about the more languages you know, the more the chances of your employment and employability are higher. So the question is it now time to rethink the whole idea of learning of languages in a modern contemporary world where premium on knowing more languages is valued much higher than if you do not know, and where there is transmobility of workers, transmobility of labor? Isn't it better off if you know more languages, particularly languages that are spoken by a wider section of the population, whether it's Hindi or other languages that are spoken in wider parts of the country, as opposed to taking this rigid ideological political position that you will not learn Hindi because it's been imposed by the BJP and the NDA government.
A scholar fluent in 17 languages. Now we are all talking. Why should you learn Hindi? Not only he learned Hindi, he has learned 17 languages. That is how he has become a great man.
Now, this opposition to Hindi and calling this an imposition of Hindi, it's more political than anything else. In Tamil Nadu, for example, which is where the most strident opposition happens to Hindi, the political parties there, whether DMK, other parties, they've voiced their sharpest criticism to try and push Hindi in the state. They claim that the national education policy, the new NEP as it's known, and its three-language formula is a backdoor attempt to impose Hindi, and they've rejected the three-language formula, they've rejected the NEP, they've said they will not implement that in the state. Now, Karnataka is also following suit. The State Education Policy Commission has, in its report, recommended a two-language policy, that's English plus Kannada, one that the Congress-ruled state government there backs, and therefore they're going to adopt this, so which means they will also reject the new national education policy. There will not be a three-language formula in Karnataka, there will only be a two-language formula. In Maharashtra, the politics has been front and center for the last few weeks now. First, there was a government directive which mandated Hindi as a third language in all primary schools from class 1 to class 5. And then subsequently, after the backlash from the MNS and the Sena UBT, the traditional Marathi parties, there was a rollback by the Fadnavis government after protests and pressure from the opposition parties. Two government resolutions were rolled back. Now there is no compulsory Hindi in classes 1 to 5. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop at just politics. There have been vulgar displays of language chauvinism, harassment and thrashing of non-Marathi speakers, all in the run-up to the important local body elections. But if the debate is about what can be the link language, should English be the link language, should Hindi be the link language? Because at the end of the day, somebody who's born and brought up in Chennai, if he or she is moved and transferred or for employment purposes is moved to Delhi, then expecting that person to know Hindi or know English or find a link language is extremely important. The debate is around what can possibly be that link language. The opposition says it should be English, the BJP says it should be Hindi, but the numbers bear out the truth. Of the total population, about 43.63%, which is under 50%, under an outright majority, they speak Hindi, whereas the people who converse in English is just 10.5%, 10.6%. So only 1/10 of the country speaks English, less than half the country speaks Hindi. So the idea that English should be the link language and not Hindi, which should be considered as the link language, is kind of absurd because almost half the country speaks Hindi, but only 1/10 of the country speaks English. Let's listen into various political reactions and then we'll go across to our guests.
किसी मुस्लिम के स्कूल में अगर मदरसा में अगर उर्दू पढ़ाया जा रहा है तो ये आज का नहीं है, ये तो कई साल से। और इस तरह का भाषा पे अगर बीजेपी भेदभाव कर चुनाव को मुद्दे नजर रखकर इस तरह का माहौल बनाएंगे तो कोई हजम नहीं करेंगे,
कांग्रेस पार्टी एंड इट्स अलाइड दे हैव बिकम ए नेगेटिव पॉलिटिक्स narrative carrier party. They are opposed to each and every step of the government.
Now, even as the Congress and its allies continue to claim that there is imposition of Hindi in non-Hindi speaking states, let's remind what the Constitution says. Article 351 of the Constitution says, and I quote, "It shall be the duty of the Union to promote the spread of the Hindi language, to develop it so that it may serve as a medium of expression for all the elements of the composite culture of India, and to secure its enrichment by assimilating without interfering with its genius, the forms, the styles and the expressions used in Hindustani, as well as in other languages of India specified in the English schedule, and by drawing whatever is necessary and desirable for its vocabulary, primarily on Sanskrit and secondarily on other Indian languages." So is it more politics where parties like the DMK, the MNS, the Sena UBT and others have been going on this language chauvinism, whereas parties like the TDP are saying that the more languages you know, the better off you will be? Jyotsna Tirunagari is spokesperson of the TDP. Saravanan Annadurai is spokesperson of the DMK. Saravanan, let me start with you first. So, you heard what Mr. Naidu had to say. He's as much South Indian as you are, or I am, frankly. And he says, what's wrong in learning Hindi? He cited the example of Mr. Narasimha Rao saying he knew 17 languages. So, what's wrong in learning Hindi or English or Bengali or what have you?
Yeah. Jaga, what's wrong in learning Hindi? What's wrong in learning Bengali? There is nothing wrong. Nobody is preventing anybody from learning Hindi. But we don't want it shoved down our throats. We don't want it against our will, imposed on us. I think this chauvinism of DMK. I think BJP is the most chauvinistic party India ever had. And we are not chauvinists. We are someone who protect our language, protect our culture. And we don't go thrashing people. There are Hindi Prachar Sabhas doing spectacularly well in Chennai, and Hindi film stars are very well revered. Hindi songs are super hit songs here in Chennai. Nobody is preventing them from listening to Hindi songs. Amir Khan, Salman Khan, all these superstars are superstars here also. So where is this opposition to Hindi? And everybody who is taking cudgels against the DMK and their policy, they are not understanding the fact that India is an economic superpower because it is of DMK. We ensured that English stays as a link language. 1965, Madam Indira Gandhi gave a solemn promise that English will continue to be the link language. And if India's economic prowess directly can be attributed to the use of English, can anybody dispute that? What would have happened?
So, no, once again, Saran, you are saying India became an economic superpower because DMK insisted on use of English.
Absolutely. If not for the DMK, the English would have gone as a link language from India.
Okay.
Please, anybody, madam is laughing. I would request madam to read the history, what the Official Languages Act said and what was the original constitution said.
I'm laughing for a reason, sir, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I can understand that. See, they originally, what they said is 15 years is what we will allow English to continue.
Yeah.
Then 1965 we had this language war in India, so in Tamil Nadu. That is the reason English is still continuing as a link language. If India is a software superpower, that is because of the expertise, the command of Indians over English. Chinese are not.
So, Jyotsna Trunagari represents a state which split away from the Madras presidency because they had their own linguistic identity. But her chief minister today says we should learn as many languages as possible. Certainly, we should learn Hindi. And he cited the example of PV Narasimha Rao, again, former prime minister, great son of Andhra Pradesh, saying he knew as many as 17 languages as a polyglot. But Jyotsna Trunagari, you have the DMK spokesperson saying the problem is not learning languages, the problem is imposition of Hindi. Whether in the new education policy where it says 3-language formula and the third language will be Hindi. Even in a state like Maharashtra, the government there has had to resign on that order of Hindi as the third language.
First and foremost, I would say I'm proud of being a Telugite. Definitely, I love my language and I am proud of my mother tongue and I speak my mother tongue. There's no doubt about it. Apart from my mother tongue, I have learned English. I have learnt Hindi, I have learnt Kannada because that makes my life easier. Simple. That has made my life easier. Today I come to Delhi, the easiest way of communication for me with all sets of people, not only the educated or the other class, but for me Hindi is a language that connects me to more people. As simple as that. And when I go to Bangalore, yes, if I can speak Kannada, it helps me out. And yes, I would love to learn Tamil also, which I have been trying for years. I would request Dhanidharan sir if you could help me in learning some part of Tamil as well. But the point here is,
I'm sure Saranan will help you with that.
No, I'll tell you.
I'll be happy to help you with
see,
that.
No, I'll give you the reason. The more languages you learn, the more equipped you become. And also, why Hindi? Why Hindi is the question. Now, when I had a small smile on my face, I said, "Madam is laughing." I laughed at your statement, Jacob, when you said, is it because of DMK that English is so popular in India now and all this stuff? And I said that DMK had the same probably instinct or commitment if they could make other languages as strong as English if they really had made it earlier. But my point here is, nobody is shoving down Hindi under our throat. Nobody is, literally. They are not. The only thing is, if we learn Hindi, we can communicate with more number of people. See, most of the North Indian states or most of the other states where there is a migration from other parts of India to that particular state. Let's assume if I take Telangana or Andhra Pradesh, the maximum migration is from Odisha, the maximum migration is from Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand and all these places, Bihar. Yes.
Okay.
So all these sets of people, for them the common language is Hindi. If I have to take my own two Telugu states, that is Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So learning Hindi makes my life easier. They also, they can speak the best of Telugu, I tell you. See, the next question from sir is that DMK spokesperson is that why can't they learn Telugu? They can speak the best of Telugu. At the same time, me learning Hindi has made my life easier in my own state and also in the states where I'm going for my work. As a spokesperson, I travel to Delhi and that has made my life easier. So when Naidu Garu said that when we are learning more languages, we are becoming more equipped. It increases our opportunities. It opens more horizons for us. Expands our horizons.
Saravanan, you know, the interesting thing is that Andhra Pradesh, the United Andhra Pradesh, when it was founded in 1956, split away from the Madras Presidency exactly on the issue of language. Today, 70 years later, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh is saying that we should learn Hindi as well. If he can evolve in his political position, then why can't the DMK?
See, Mr. I don't know, probably short-term political goals are forcing Mr. Chandrababu Naidu to speak so. We have seen the languages which have been annihilated only because they embraced Hindi, Bhojpuri, Maithili, Awadhi, the list is endless. Does anybody speak Rajasthani? Does anybody speak Gujarati? No. Everything
so the whole state of Gujarat that speaks Gujarati. Come on, Saravanan, come on. That's not.
What about Maithili? What about Bhojpuri?
There are millions of people who speak Bhojpuri and Maithili.
Zaka, no, they are not speaking. They are not speaking.
When they
Hindi
have
has taken
no
away all
problem
this.
with
Just a
English,
moment,
what is
madam.
the problem
Just a
with
moment.
Hindi?
Just a moment. If Mr. Chandrababu Naidu continues with this same attitude, Telugu will not be there in the next 50 or 100 years. This is the reality, grim reality of one language cannibalizing the other. I have given examples. Just a moment, madam. We are speaking about employability here. When we are speaking about employability, nobody from Andhra, nobody from Karnataka, nobody from Tamil Nadu are going northwards. That migration is over. All of them are coming there, getting employed here. If the union government really wants to help those people, they should set up places where they can learn Tamil, Kannada, Telugu or Malayalam so that it will be helpful for them. See, you madam is privileged. She'll go to Delhi. Someone from deep down, south, 100 kilometers south of Madurai, he does not need Hindi. They are happy with Tamil.
Saravanan, you look at this statistic. No, one second. Saravanan. We're showing this. We are showing this statistic. One second, Saravanan. We are showing this statistic on our screen. I hope you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. 52 crore people speak Hindi. That's almost half the population of the country speaks Hindi. About 10 crores people speak Bengali, 8 crore people speak Marathi, 8 crores people speak Telugu, about 7 crore people speak Tamil. It's the fifth most spoken language in the country. Now, my point is, if half the country is speaking Hindi, and look at English, 2.6 lakh, those are the identified people as per Census 2011, 2.6 lakh people out of 130, 140 crores in this country identify English as their first language.
Yes.
Are you saying that we should cater to and pander to 2.6 lakh people? Or the 7 crore people who speak Tamil, or the 52 crore people who speak Hindi?
I'll explain that to you, Zaka. When you were in first standard, you would have been taught India is a place of a diverse culture. India is a multicultural society. India is a multilingual society. We take pride in our diversity, unity in diversity. If you want to preserve this diversity, Hindi, which is spoken by the majority of the people, if you adopt that, India will become a majoritarian state. We don't want majority policies to be thrust on us. If English is a leveler, English is a foreign language for someone from Uttar Pradesh, English is a foreign language for someone from Telangana, English is a foreign language for someone from Tamil Nadu. So when you use English as a link language, it acts as a leveler. However strong you may be in Hindi, you can never compete with a non-native speaker. You can never compete with someone who speaks Hindi as his mother tongue. So we will be at a disadvantage. We will automatically become second-class citizens. See, this is what the language war was all about in the state of Tamil Nadu in 1965. The BJP, everything is done and dusted. The BJP for their political gains, sheer political gains, they are again starting
Jyotsna
this.
Tirunagari. So now it has come to this whole thing about the national education policy. So Tamil Nadu was the first state which said no, we will not implement NEP. Then Maharashtra said that we will not implement NEP. Now you have a third state, Karnataka, where the State Education Commission there has recommended to the state government, and the state government is saying that they will make this into a law, that they will also do away with the three-language formula under the NEP. Now, my point is, if Belgium and Switzerland and France, these are all countries that are at much higher per capita, social indicators, per capita economic indicators, can all encourage multi-languages, not just 3, maybe even 4 languages, then why are all of these progressive states, states which have higher economic and social indicators, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, etc., even economically, these are the top 2 or 3 economically progressive states in the country, why are they rejecting this third language?
See, one thing I'll tell you is, again, as I reiterate myself, learning more languages helps you. And I don't know why are they politicizing the language? That's my problem. See, as a student, if a student wants to learn more languages, probably one as first language, second language, third language, what is the harm? See, when I was a student, Jaka, I have learned, Hindi as my second language. In Andhra Pradesh, erstwhile United Andhra Pradesh. Don't I talk the best of Telugu? Or haven't I taught my kids Telugu? I think, we have learned it all the way. So I think we have to come out of that perception of language politics. We have to come out of it. There's no politics with language. I don't think it is admissible also. And as Sir said, we'll become second grade citizens. I really don't understand when you have no problem learning English and becoming the second grade or third grade citizens when compared to all the other rest of the world, a language which is of your own country, Bharat Desh, you have a problem with the language. So what is it showing? It is not hatred on Hindi probably, it is the hatred on a particular party or a particular thing. So probably they have to change their perception of looking at language as a political weapon.
Okay, Saranan, 30 seconds, I have to wrap up after this. I have to go to the next one.
Zaka, if you look at all the sons and daughters of all the BJP leaders who want English to be taken away, English, they call it as a colonial hangover. All of them are studying where, Zaka? The list is long. Oxford, Stanford, Cambridge, everywhere.
Sons and daughters of DMK leaders are also studying in English language schools and universities. How many of them are going to Tamil medium schools? Nobody is going to Tamil medium schools.
Sir, the schools have Hindi as the language.
See, you want to grow because the governments, successive governments have never spent on professional teaching, professional curriculum, professional syllabus in native languages. It is available only if you want to become a doctor, you can only study in English.
No. So in fact, the central government, I think even the Prime Minister raised that. Why can't doctors who are studying in government medical colleges in Tamil Nadu learn in Tamil? Who will make that happen? State government has to make it happen.
That will restrict them. They'll be able to practice only in the state of Tamil Nadu. They'll not even able to go to Bangalore and practice. That is the problem here. See, English, this universality cannot be just wished away. These people for just mere political gains. Mr. Chandrababu Naidu will sing a different tune when he is not in the ally with the BJP. Mr. NTR Ramarao, how did he come to power? He spoke of Telugu pride. That is the reason he came to power.
They are still proud of Telugu. I don't think anybody is not proud of Telugu.
When they